Hey guys, like, comment, subscribe. Just doing a quick video on some NFL news coming out of the funnel today. So recently it was announced that Matthew Stafford and the Detroit Lions have decided that they mutually are going to part ways. So how that's going to look is not a release. However, the Detroit Lions are going to look for potential trading partners for Matthew Stafford. So just going to take a quick look at two teams that I personally think are very good options for Matt Stafford and I would like to see him go to. The first one is probably the most obvious of the bunch, and it would be the Indianapolis Colts. I think Stafford would be a perfect fit for a Colts system that last year obviously had Philip Rivers have some pretty good success, and then obviously have him retire at the end of the season. In terms of play style, both have a very, very strong arm. Stafford, I would say at this point in his career, is obviously more talented than a guy like Rivers. So to be able to see what a guy like Frank Reich could do with that. I mean, Frank Reich has had relative success with guys like Jacoby Brissett. He obviously has had Andrew Luck there. This would be the best quarterback he's had since Andrew Luck. And with that being said, I think the receiving core there would respond very well to Matt Stafford as well. And I think the team itself knows that they're solely a quarterback away from actually being able to replicate the success of last year. If they don't bring in anyone and they do have to run with Jacoby Brissett, it's questionable. I'm not saying they can't get to the playoffs again, they can't get 10 wins again. They definitely possibly can. I just feel like Matt Stafford would give them a pure security blanket in that regard. And even if he does get injured, like he tends to at some point in the year, you have Brissett come in, play a couple games if he wants to stay there. And I think overall, it's just a very good fit for them. Jim Irsay is a guy we obviously know is willing to spend. So this is a move that I don't think he would be shy to make in terms of what they would have to give up. I would be surprised if they have to give up a first round pick, but even then, given that their draft pick is at least in the bottom half this year, they'd be a bit more willing to. But again, I would be shocked if they have to give up a first round pick for Stafford this year. So that would be my personal number one in terms of where I think Matt Stafford should go. I just think that's the easiest solution. That's the team most willing to spend, most willing to go get him. So yeah, moving on from the Colts, I would say number two, ironically, is one of their biggest rivals of the 2000s. It would be the New England Patriots. Matthew Stafford being able to go to New England after the year they had last year would definitely give Bill Belichick a much better pure quarterback than Cam Newton. Cam Newton, when he first got there, the first game, 2 games, looked like it was going to be very successful. And then they obviously were not able to rely on his arm. And with that as well, a guy like Jarrett Stidham, they're clearly not full in on, or else he would have been starting games this year. So I think Matt Stafford would be a pretty good fit for there. Now, if there's actually word that Jimmy Garoppolo is on the block and Bill Belichick does want to make that reunite happen, that could be something that I wouldn't say. I think that's where I would lean more towards Garoppolo, but because no official word has come out yet, if I'm Robert Kraft, I'm the New England Patriots, I'm calling Detroit, I'm saying, what do you want for him? Obviously, same boat in terms of what they would have to give up. But I think the Patriots are in a situation where if they could get Stafford, they would probably be able to contend again next year for a playoff spot based on the fact that they will draft the other positions they need. They'll likely get to keep most of that secondary intact. And as long as they don't have an offseason like last year, where many of the top guys are leaving, Kyle Van Noy, list goes on, I think they would actually be in a position again where they could contend again in the AFC East. Buffalo right now, very strong. I don't think it would put them over Buffalo still, but it would at least put them in contention for that second wild card spot in my mind. Matt Stafford, I don't know how Bill Belichick would do in terms of coaching, just in terms of the game plan, just because Tom Brady was so much more of a short guy passer versus Stafford obviously again has his big arm. Not saying that he isn't great on the short to medium passes as well. Just traditionally, we know what Matt Stafford's game is. So I'd be interested to see how Belichick is able to use Stafford in that regard. But I still think overall it would be pretty successful for them. Um, I mean, Stafford, he's a guy who has the ability to throw for 5,000 yards. If I'm not mistaken, he has done it. He obviously has the ability to throw for 30 touchdowns. He's gotten better for the most part in terms of not turning the ball over. It's really just his injury concerns if you are someone looking to trade for him. But again, that's why I like a team like the Colts, who have a guy like Jacoby Brissett, if he wants to stay there, who could manage for a month if he has to. And then Stafford comes in, and hopefully in this time there goes 8-4 or so with the Colts, and that they look like a pretty good team overall. But let me know what you guys think of the two potential options in terms of the Colts and the Patriots, what you think of the news of Stafford potentially getting traded means, what the Detroit Lions are likely next to do. Obviously, with a new coach, this means that they're very in on just having a whole new system together there. So not surprised in that regard. Hopeful for Stafford that he gets to be on a playoff team and actually make a deep run next year. But again, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you guys next time with some more content.